Ooh, we are live. Hell yeah. So, we are going to talk about the Green Lanterns. That's going to be the main topic. There is a topic I do want to talk about. I do. You see, I saw that Moist Critical put out a video. And then I clicked on it. And then I exited out because I was like, let me go read this article. You know, I was like 4 minutes into the video. But anyways, view botting. Okay. There's an article. I don't know. This dude named Reed. He works for some big marketing company, right? Or not marketing, agency. This dude named Reed works for an agency that represents creators, YouTubers, whatever. Okay. Now he put like the head of the article here. Let me freaking show it to you guys, and I will go in more detail. It's time to start view botting. Okay, and we'll go over it, and then we'll get to Green Lanterns, or the Lanterns. Okay, I'll tell you guys my view about it as we go throughout, but a lot of people are kind of upset that he phrased it in a positive way. I get it, but it's received traction. You know, people are talking about it, and it's been a freaking issue for a long time. Now, do I think it's a creator problem? Freak no. It's a platform problem. You know, Kick, YouTube not so much, but Kick and Twitch. Let's go with those two, the big two. I don't know much about TikTok, all the other freaking gay stuff that's going on. Don't know about the other platforms, but Kick and Twitch. All right, these super retarded gay platforms. Sorry, like I forget that when you're on these platforms like YouTube and Kick and all that, you're no longer in a free country. So sometimes I forget. There's no freedom of speech here. My bad. Okay. First off, yes, to compete, you gotta view bot if you want traction. You know, like before you guys get mad and, you know, start bleeding because it's your time of the month, you freaking retards. What I'm saying is, the algorithm doesn't reward you for being good right off the bat. Now, those who are good, make great content, you don't need a view bot. If you want, you'll have success. If you want success faster, then you should view bot. Now, why do I say that? Because the platform does not reward you. The algorithm does not reward you for making good content. Doesn't reward you for making bad content. It doesn't reward you for putting in a ton of hours. It's gonna be slow, and you'll see like people with garbage content, and they're making it. They make a living, okay, and they're view botting. View botting is a problem with big creators and small creators, okay, and whatever that it's in between. Like, look, the time me doing this stream, we got like 82 subscribers on YouTube and 30 followers on Kick. Obviously, 82 and 30 of the best subscribers in the world, and everybody else is don't understand the complexities of my cinematic masterpieces. But you know, like me, my content is gonna be pretty much whatever the hell I want to make it. I'm doing it for fun. I'm not trying to be something I'm not. You know, I'm not. I don't have a personality like the Burnt Peanut. Like, he's great. You know, but every year you're gonna get somebody whose name you don't know today, and you will know by the end of this year. They blew up. Okay. I'm going to give you an example of why, like, I don't believe in luck. I don't believe that you need to view bot to have success, but in a competitive way, if you're trying to, you know, we'll get into it. But this is the example I put why it isn't, like, content creation isn't luck. There's this guy. His name was Greg Plitt. He was one of, like, I would say the number one fitness guy in the world, like fitness model. He had his own website. He was like the pioneer of content creating, and showing people like all the ins and outs of the fitness industry, all the corruption, the problems. And he had a great physique. And how he started, he was just out of the military, Greg Plitt. And then he went to Vegas with his military buddies, right? And he was, had a leadership role and everything. And he just went to like some casino and a bar and started drinking. This dude recognized him. Like, didn't recognize him, but discovered him. Went up to him and be like, hey, man, you got a great look. Solid physique. Why don't you come up to my room? We could take some pictures. At first, he thought, okay, we got to kill this guy because what the hell is wrong with you talking to me like that? I'm trying to like pick up chicks and drink with my buddies. And he's like, well, here's my card. And then he did something that most people don't do. Due diligence. Okay? And then he looked up the guy, saw he was legit, called him, and they took pictures. And then he landed a magazine cover that day. Or he like his shots, he was on the cover of a magazine, of a fitness magazine. I think it was Muscle and Fitness. Okay, you could say, oh, that's lucky he got discovered. All right, let's break that down. He, for years, was working on a physique. He's been training. He's been wrestling in high school. He's been bodybuilding. Never took steroids. Was in the military. Always fit. Always, his body was ready. 20 years of work, pretty much, to land one fitness cover. And then you're like, all right, great. Guess what? He didn't become famous right after that. People were not lining up calling him like, your physique is the best we've ever seen. And now you're famous and here's $1 million. No, he realized early on that like, man, I'm not getting any phone calls. I'm not freaking like, nothing's really happening. It was good. I got like I didn't even get a paycheck, but I'm on a magazine cover. But because I rejected I think he accepted the $500 it was to do the shoot. And so then he's like, all right, let me get some headshots. Let me invest, make a profile. And he pretended to be his own agent, where he called like, oh yeah, this is the agent Greg Plitt. Let me see his availability, blah, 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 blah. And then he went after it and called every photographer he knew. He went and bought every magazine he could, circled it, and then did the freaking work. Okay? You like that, first of all, like he was ready to be lucky, but he couldn't bank on that every freaking time. Like just walk in a casino and wait every day for some photographer to discover him. So content creation is similar like that. Like you could put garbage content. There's 7 billion people in the world. Somebody's going to like your stuff. The better it is objectively, where it's funny, entertaining, good edits, you're going to get discovered. It might take a while, but you will get, maybe someday make a living through content creation, which is a great thing. I'm not saying that I'm not trying to do that. Like, obviously, I'm on here, like, I would like some reward someday, but that will come through time. But I also go to work. I got a family and kids and all that stuff. So I'm not like dedicating everything so that I could pay for bots, right? So, but we'll get into all my perspectives and what this article has to say. And I want to point out, today's day and age, because of the article, or not the article, the platforms, Kick, Twitch, whatever it may be, it's a platform issue. I guarantee every top content creator or streamer, if they started today and nobody knew them, it would be a really good strategy to view bot. Now, when it gets to fraud, remember, you could say it's cheating. That's a good strategy. If you could cheat and never get found out, then do it. But then when you're talking about morality, when it gets to fraud, it's like if a company, let's say Monster Energy Drink wants to sponsor you because like, dude, this guy's got 1 million freaking subscribers or followers. Awesome. Or 50,000 per stream. Great. You shouldn't take those contracts on the basis of morality, because it's like, yo, we're going to sponsor you, pay for your videos, and, give you a check every time you mention us, whatever. But we're expecting 50,000 potential customers, but we're only getting 1,000 because 49,000 of them are bots. Like that is where it gets scummy. Like you can strategize as like, oh, I need to get discovered first, hit like 10,000 followers, and then cut the view botting and actually go after people. And you didn't make any money off that, or maybe even did a little bit. I don't know, but before you take deals where you are actively deceiving whoever's trying to sponsor you, that's when it's effed up. That's when it's screwed up. And right now, platforms like Kick and Twitch and whatever streaming services that have major botting issues, they're committing fraud against these companies that want to advertise on their platform, right? That's the big issue. But let's get into the actual article here. It's time to start view botting. What does it take to cut through all the noise on the internet? If everyone else is botting, why shouldn't you? Aside from you being gay, why shouldn't you? Okay, we used to live in a world where we made great content. Algorithms would find an audience for your videos. Now creators have to clip farm, pay clippers, and sometimes even view bot to have a better chance of capturing some attention and breaking through the noise. This is especially true on platforms like Twitch, where view botting can surface you on the front page of popular streaming categories. Give me a second. And we got Burnt Peanut. And what does he have to say? That's right.
Call view botting the loser's topic.
Nice.
Call.
Okay. He already laid out, like right here, he's laying out like a strategy for everybody. You know, like clip farm, make some shorts to get to your actual videos. Be entertaining. I'm not freaking entertaining. I'm just retarded. But I like to be on here and, you know, put myself out there. Like I'm having fun. Okay. And again, you're always going to find some audience. Maybe you're not going to hit 20 million subscribers, but if you're going to be on here for 20 years, you most likely will hit 1 million subscribers, and people are going to say things like, how does anybody like this guy? He's a freaking idiot. Like, this guy is not entertaining, blah, 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 blah. But, you know, like, everybody, like Baskin Robbins got 32 flavors, man. Only one of them is going to be your favorite. But all 32 flavors is somebody's favorite. All right? Okay. Thankfully, you've reached the top letterboards of Twitch and have amassed a large audience. And you probably don't need to view bot. However, you still freaking do it. However, there has been a lot of drama on X recently related to the largest streamers on Twitch allegedly view botting. This has gotten me thinking, is view botting a legitimate strategy? Do advertisers have any way of tracking bottled engagement, and why isn't Twitch cracking down on this at all? Okay, a few things here. If you're a top streamer, that's super scummy. That's super scummy. Where I don't know what your intention is if you just have a massive ego and you need like everybody watching your crap over somebody else's crap. It's like, dude, you got different. Sometimes you share an audience, but people who watch you live while that your competitor is live, those are the ones you should be thanking because they prefer you over everybody else at that time. And if you're view botting so that you could be competitive against other top streamers, that's just stupid, man. And there will be a day where somebody is going to get sued and then people are going to lose a lot of money. And guess what? Whatever money you're making as your view botting, I guarantee years down the road when companies can prove that you're view botting, or maybe a month from now, they could prove that you're view botting, whatever money they paid you, you're probably going to have to pay them back. Dude, do not mess with the legal code, man. That, like, if money is involved, they want that. Like, they're going to come after you, dude. Okay? And then, is view botting a legitimate strategy? Do advertisers have any way of tracking botted engagement? Okay, one red flag is if a content creator is just on one platform. Okay? Because when you see a content creator doing multi-streaming or different platforms, You see the type of engagement. You see there's a lot of metrics you could track. And again, there's going to be experts on there. There's going to be YouTubers that are experts in identifying view botting. There's content creators that teach you how to sell rocks. Okay? Like, it's not like there's content for everything. So somebody's going to dedicate their life on finding view botters. And look, a good example is Caleb Hammer. He does the financial audit. That is supposed to be super boring stuff, but it's not even a niche. He just realized that people are retarded, and he can make fun of them on their stupid financial decisions. That shouldn't be entertaining, but it is. It just is. Okay, and also it is educational and informative. Like, the advice that he gives to the retards that he has on there is advice that anybody that's watching can also take, and apply it to themselves. And that's one of the reasons why his content is so great and it grew. But that's aside from the point. I don't know why Twitch isn't cracking down. Actually, I do know. Okay, so if you don't know about anything about the stock market, it's fake money. You know about the whole Paramount and Warner Brothers situation we've talked about. It's all projected money. What it's worth because you made an announcement, because somebody, sucked somebody off, and now this is valued at this much. Whatever. Okay? So Twitch, like, they don't really make money. All right? But if you're like, again, let's use Monster Energy drink again. If Monster Energy wants like some like old school banner thing, as soon as you click on Kick or Twitch, right on the side of it, it just says Monster Energy drink. And they're paying however much money they need to pay to be on there. They're going to see which platforms is more viable per month, per how many years, or when it's the best to put, like, the best timing to advertise on Kick versus advertising on Twitch. Maybe the month of June they should put it on Kick, and in the month of July they should put it on Twitch. Whatever. Well, they need to show those numbers to prove that they are worth, they're a company that's worth having an advertisement on. So therefore, they don't want to take away those numbers. Okay? So they're not going to do anything about them. Now, maybe if a bunch of randos make a big stink about it, they might ban that content creator for like an hour or maybe a day. And then, just be like, hey, just don't get caught next time, man. Like, but we had to give you a boo-boo. Okay. Platforms need to take action. 100% agree. Let's see what the hell this guy wants to say. We've been dealing with this issue for a long time now, and I remember reading an article from Rolling Stones where up to 13% of the movement behind the release, the Snyder Cut campaign, came from botted accounts. That's crazy, but all right, whatever. Nicki Minaj has also come under fire lately for botting. On platform like X, bots tend to leave behind little evidence, no followers, a newly created account, or suspicious comment behavior that can be used to identify whether the account is real or not. However, this isn't the case on Twitch. Outside of jumping from 3,000 viewers to 50K in a matter of minutes, there really isn't a clear way to tell. You just told me that's the clear way to tell. What the hell are you talking about? From 3,000 viewers to 50,000 in a matter of minutes. Okay? Idiot. There really isn't a clear way to tell who is botting and who isn't. The only evidence we get as viewers is the live viewer count and the speed of messages in chat. I remember YouTube kind of cracked down on fake accounts where, and that's why YouTube is one of the better platforms. And I do believe if YouTube ever decided to compete streaming-wise against Kick and Twitch, like, they could be dead within the month. But the, like, they took away these fake accounts. And unfortunately, what happens when you try to clean slate, whether it's political, immigration, whatever it is, like immigration, all that stuff, like, innocents are going to get in the way. All right, they are going to have an effect. So some people had accounts and they were real people and lost their account. And then some who actually cared about having an account went and complained to YouTube and they got their account restored. Some, I guess it was too late, but that did happen. Now, where Twitch and Kick are just trying to survive, like there's a lot of reasons why they aren't cracking down on the botting situation. Should they? I 100% think they should. Now, small content creators, if you want to get discovered quick, if you like have no skills, like nobody's hiring you and this is all you can do, and you have no personality, you're not good at content creation, and you're lazy and you're kind of a bum, then view botting is the way to go. But again, it's a band-aid, man. Like you're band-aid over a flesh wound. Like you gotta have good content to like grow, or at least honest content. It doesn't even have to be good, just honest. Some people literally because of who they are, their personalities, not because their fame became famous, because they are just an honest person in front of a camera. Like there's ways to grow, man. And like I'm never gonna view bot. But, like, I've thought about it. I think everybody's thought about it. If you're on here where it's like, you put out like 20 videos, you're streaming every day. And then after a year, you literally had 0 viewers. But guess what? That's called the grind, man. And you learn to get better and better and better. And then you start studying it. It isn't just, like before, maybe in the past, it used to be turn on a camera, start talking, and then boom, you are good to go. You're going to get a new viewer every day, maybe. But I think it's good that it became more competitive. It became something where you have to actually actively study and go forward if you want to have some sort of career off content creation yourself. But anyways, Twitch has been dealing with this for years now. A post from Devin Nash sums it up well, and he even goes on to say that there's no real downside to botting your stream if you're in the top 500 creators. What? Back in August of last year, we did see a crackdown on bots, and I hope that trend continues for the foreseeable future. Clearly, this is happening again, and bots are finding ways to go undetected. My belief, echoed by XQC, is that they don't care to enforce this. The more views there are, the better things look for advertisers. Boom. Everyone else is doing it. Should you? I would never explicitly say you should bot your views on Twitch other than in the title of this article. But the reality is, if you're not view botting and everyone else is, you're at a disadvantage. When you are competing in a category where you're buried if you don't have 500 plus viewers, maybe shifting your strategy to paying clippers and buying bots help a streamer break through. I want to see what it would cost to bot a stream, and for $180 a week on ViewBotter, I can get 1,500 followers, 225 chatters, and 750 concurrent viewers. Not bad for less than $800 a month. I actually would be interested to see how much and these companies accept crypto payments. Okay, it seems like he wants people to bot, but I get what he's trying to say. I don't think he's encouraging it, but he's just laying out the reality. You're buried. Okay, these platforms, I think it would be very different if the platforms cracked down on view botting, but gave each, like let's say the topic you want to talk about. It's like the Green Lantern stuff that we're going to talk about today. Green Lantern. And the top, Mr. Beast decides to talk about Green Lantern. And then freaking PewDiePie and whoever else is like the top YouTubers or streamers or whatever start talking about it. And then you have like 10 followers, maybe 3, and you start talking about it, and maybe your content is even better than theirs. You're better at streaming. You have a better personality on screen, live, and you're talking about Green Lantern. It would be great if the platform like Kick or Twitch grabbed you and was like, all right, like here's the top, like having categories like here's the top 10 guys who are talking about Lantern, and this is how many people are watching, and this is also, and right next to their videos, like this is also the newest content creators of under 500 subscribers talking about the Lanterns today at this hour. And then people are like, they'll watch it and then they'll get a little curious, like, well, this thumbnail actually looks kind of intriguing, or this dude, like, he kind of, I want to see what this guy has to say. Like, it's a different dude, never seen him before. Boom. And maybe because you're entertaining, you do good stuff, you grow. Now, I didn't think that through. I'm just saying, like, something like that. I'm not saying that's the best freaking thing you should do, but they should find some way to, because you want, like, content creators are pretty much an employee. Okay? You are an employee to Kick, you're an employee to YouTube. At any time, they could cancel your freaking channel because they're like, man, we don't like freaking the way you look, or the way you freaking, your hygiene or something. And then you're banned, or you could never go on this platform again, and now you have to go find a job. Yeah, that could totally happen. That's why you're an employee. Will that happen? Hopefully not. But like, I'm guessing everybody who does content creation, I'm guessing Kick and Twitch and YouTube, they want you to succeed so that you could bring an audience that currently isn't on those platforms. Therefore, they make more money, and then they can also pay you because you're making them money, and now they're making you money, and then and it's a cycle of everybody gets to make money. Is there any way to detect view botting? From what I've researched about detecting view botting, even Dan Clancy, the Twitch CEO, has mentioned that detecting bots is a cat and mouse game. When allegations start surfacing online, streamers are left to state their case and prove their audience is real. Look, the first time I realized that view botting was a thing and there was fake accounts was on Rotten Tomatoes. There was a bunch of verified reviewers, like just freaking sucking on chode on super crappy movies. They were just like, oh, this is the freaking greatest thing that I've ever seen. This is a triumph, whatever, all that bullcrap, right? And then you saw their account, and that was their first review ever. They have no picture on their profile pic, and they've never posted another review again, and never had never subscribed to anybody else, never followed anybody else. It was just like that account was created that day to prop up reviews. And then you saw it with like actors, like they were racist towards this actor, like look at all the things in the comments. And then sometimes you click, and I'm not saying there wasn't any, like that people like that don't exist, but a lot of them you would click on their profile, no picture. That was the first comment they've ever commented, and they have nothing on their freaking profile page. It's insane. Like, companies have done this. So it isn't just these platforms, it's companies. They did this on Twitter like crazy. And they did it for like movies and whatnot, right? And then everybody became a professional critic. So the that was the first time I ever noticed that. But let's read that back. From what I've researched about detecting view botting, even Dan Clancy, the Twitch CEO, has mentioned that detecting bots is a cat. He's making an excuse. Start surfacing online, streamers are left to state their case and prove their audience is real. That, all right, like that's what they should do. And for brands, is there any way to tell if streamer or someone else is botting their viewership? I couldn't find anything legitimate that I would trust. There currently isn't a website out there that can credibly detect bots on Twitch. Someone build this and email it to me. Don't email it to him. Build it and then charge an extreme fee. If you are smart enough to do this, man, like, here you go. This article has given so many people ideas on how to be successful in life, if you can create this website, I'm not going to do it because I'm retarded. If you can create this website and kill view botting, congratulations, man. You made it. You are going to be probably a billionaire, dude. And then you sell it to these companies. You know, you sell your service to this company, boom. And then every freaking company in the world, Disney, Monster Energy Drink, anybody who wants to sponsor a freaking Sony, all that stuff, wants to sponsor a content creator, they're going to come through you to make sure that these people are not view botting their own views. They're not doing that crap, right? So there you go. The big takeaway, we've entered an era where good content alone isn't enough. Distribution tactics it is enough. It's just like anything that's worthwhile, it's going to take a little bit of time and a lot of effort. And it could take a lot of time and a lot of effort. You know, like I'll point this out. Like Tolkien wasn't rich until like towards the end of his life. Or maybe he did get rich, like maybe not towards the end, but you know, he at least hit 30 before he was just like a regular dude and working at a school and just one of the most beautiful, incredible humans to ever exist. You know, look at George R.R. Martin, that fat bastard. He didn't make it until he was freaking 60 or something, and he's still a piece of garbage. But you know, like sometimes they take time and it's worth it. Like, you know, like Game of Thrones, however you want to see that, it was a freaking masterpiece until, at least for like the show wise, until they effed it after season 4. You know, his books, you know, they're pretty much incest porn, but in terms of high fantasy, it is phenomenal writing. He's a smart guy. He's never going to finish his books, so his legacy is tainted. But yeah, like you're still going to read them. If you like that stuff, you're still going to read them. Like, anyways, we've entered an era where good content alone isn't enough. Distribution tactics are. When clipping, paid amplification, and even bots can artificially push you up the rankings. Now, other than bots, but clipping and paid amplification, if you got the money to do it and that's the route you want to go, great. You know, it's kind of like, you know, clickbaiting was the free thing to get more people clicking on your videos back. Like, it still is, but it was really prevalent, you know, some years ago. You know, if you put a pair of tits on your thumbnails, boom. You might not get the audience that you want to get loyal. It's like putting out a comic book of the Green Lantern, and in that comic book is just freaking an advertisement for your content. The content is actually just like lampshades. You're going to get a bunch of people to see it, but you're not going to sell any lampshades because you're trying to pull Green Lantern fans to see lampshades. You feel me? Okay, so yeah. So if you want to clip shorts, it's smart. They helped you find a way to do it without view botting, and then you just have icing on that cake with view botting. The playing field starts to tilt toward whoever is willing to game it. Twitch's detection tools feel reactive at best, and advertisers don't seem to have a reliable way to verify that's what's real. If botting becomes normalized, creators face a brutal question. Complete clean and risk invisibility, or bend the rules to survive. Long term, though, this erodes trust in the entire ecosystem. There you go. I think it's going to erode trust with the individual creator. And then one of these platforms is going to get heavily sued, man. Like, you can make the case that one of these platforms could go bankrupt to the tune of billions. And I'm not exaggerating, guys. Like, it is a high possibility, because it's the internet, man. You got the world going to these platforms. Okay? It's just like and subscribe, douchebags. It's got an uphill battle, but it's a good fight. All right. I don't know what the hell is with this damn lag. I don't know what's wrong with YouTube. Every time I put YouTube back on, and give me a second. Okay. Oh, oh, oh. It's loading. Did the stream freeze? Shoot. I don't know what the hell. It's been lagging like hell. Look, guys. We're going to go through some of the videos. There's a clip that's going around. I think it's catching way too much heat, but in light of everything, it's well deserved. Okay? It is. So, let's watch this this clip of Damon Lindelof. Again, if you don't know who this guy is, he is the showrunner for Lanterns. Already not excited because he's a part of it. I forgot that he was a part of it, but he's the one that did the Watchmen series, which was abysmal. He was one of the writers for Star Trek, the Star Trek movies, the newer ones, garbage. But he has been part of some good stuff. I just don't think he actually cares, especially about Lance for sure. This clip that we're gonna watch, it's supposed to seem funny and jazz, but it's not now. Today, it's not that funny. Okay. Well, we're going to have a lot of because of the damn lag. I don't know how to fix it. It's me off. I'm not going to interrupt any of these because we're going to talk about it. That was pretty fun. Again, I like, making for your show is not the best strategy, but and it would give me nothing. That's gonna be it for me, guys. We back today. Give me a second. Give me a second, ladies and gentlemen. That's better. Give it a minute, and we'll be all right. Okay, nice. Well, the first one that's been making the rest of the showrunner. Again, actually, give me a quick minute. Okay, I'm back. All right. So now that the lag is it getting better? F it. You guys are gonna have to deal with this lag. I don't know how to fix this, but first video, that interview in isolation back then, it was a video they were being like tongue in cheek and joking about everything. Okay, now that we saw the Lantern trailer, that freaking sucks, man. Like, I totally believe that he thinks that way, that he thinks the green is stupid. But yeah, so apparently the green is ridiculous, stupid, and they're gonna make it in his own freaking words. They're gonna make it as down to earth as much as possible. Here, actually, this is pissing me off way too much. Give me a second again. Damn, what is going on? I'll still talk about it. I'm just getting pissed. Where are my stats? Holy F. Why? Why is it skipping? Whatever. So we had the Lantern trailer, and now James Gunn is saying that it has to be as close down to earth as humanly possible. With all the characters that you've wanted to do this with, you pick the freaking police force of the cosmos, hired by little freaking Smurf man in space, and you want to make it grounded. Like, fans are already sick of seeing Batman being grounded, right? Like, we're sick of that. And you do that with the lanterns, like, that's a pretty big freaking problem. The issue with doing this with the lanterns isn't just about it being crap. It's more about James Gunn not really caring about what the fans want, not caring about, how we feel about things. And HBO put out a message or on pick the ring and be able to use it, other than another ring bearer. One of the lore was that, like, Sinestro could use the yellow ring because he was a Green Lantern. He already had one ring, so that he's able to use another one. It's like, yeah, in part of the trailer they had that yellow thing going in Jon Stewart's head, and that could be a setup for maybe Paradox, or having Hal Jordan be Paradox, because Paradox is a little bit in the Lantern Corps, in the Lantern itself. But I just don't see how this trailer was supposed to get us to watch the Green Lanterns. Everything we know about the show, everything we know about the Lanterns, is that we are like the James Gunn Lanterns. Is that they, even in the trailer, they don't adhere to their own lore. They share rings. Man, like, I'm getting annoyed just talking about it, man. Like, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't freaking make sense. And this is the show that you got two of the most popular Green Lanterns ever. Like Kyle Rayner. If you tell me you're a fan of Kyle Rayner, like, you could be a fan, but that's your top favorite, you're an idiot. Okay? Guy Gardner, fine. I'll accept that, even if your reasoning is also retarded. But like, Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart are the top Green Lanterns. And you make Hal Jordan old, but it doesn't seem like he's wise. It seems like he's just a scumbag that never, like if you take the F1 movie with Brad Pitt, right? And you see his character where he still has immaturities, hang-ups. He's actually paying the price for his immaturities of the past. But he's grown somewhat in the aspect of racing. He hasn't grown completely in the aspect of relationships, life, and all of that. But it's an endearing character, and he grows in the movie, and it makes sense. And it makes sense how he is, how much of a team player he is, just off by the little things we know that he went through one bad race that changed it all. And I'm not saying that's all he went through, but that's all they needed to give the audience. This character, Hal Jordan, it doesn't show that he is a seasoned lantern who knows how to teach, and like it for the normies, restarting a whole new Green Lantern concept, it's gonna be fine. But for the Lantern fans who've been waiting for Jon Stewart, this is a big problem. It's not that you can't take liberties. You can. You could, like Heath Ledger's Joker. That wasn't anything like the comics, but it was a great Joker. It was a Joker. It had elements of the comics. It had respect. That was awesome. Like there's going to be things from that the showrunners should change. One good thing about Spider-Man Homecoming, I hate that movie. It's a well-written movie, but I hate it, is that they did the Vulture right. In the comics, they did this whole North Pole, South Pole thing. Ain't nobody knew science that was writing these comics. But they did that, and then in that movie, Homecoming, it's just a dude who found the technology after the 2012 Avengers issue in New York, and he knew his place. He knew that if the Avengers came crashing down, if they were too hot, they wouldn't last a freaking minute with the Avengers. So he kept it mafia-like. He kept it local. He was ambitious with an understanding of who he was as well. It was awesome. Super well written. They did it better than the comics in terms of Vulture himself. I don't think they did it better, Spider-Man better for Tom Holland than in the comics, obviously. But take your liberties with Green Lanterns. It's fine. But why didn't you just keep the core, the freaking rules of the lantern rings and how the lantern core works, and then expand off that? They literally just took the name Lantern. They didn't even take the name Green Lantern and then took it away. Like, it's shows called Lanterns, and then they have green rings. They call themselves Green Lanterns, but it has literally no correlation with the comics. Not even where the story is supposed to take place, the relationship that these two have. It's all very, very different. Like, Jon Stewart's a young guy. He doesn't even seem like he's a veteran. He acts like high and mighty and like a spoiled kid who, like, 2 months of training and you should wear a ring, dude. Like, oh my gosh. Like, it just hurts my brain just thinking that you're supposed to share a ring. That's insane. And he's like, the ring, you'll wear the ring when the ring chooses when you're ready. And then he's like, but F it. Like, he could have killed the guy. If they didn't write in the script, like, if they followed logic, that's the only time we see Jon Stewart. He dies in that freaking car crash. But because they just wrote it like, it's okay, like, people are not going to look into this. And then just like, oh yeah, you could don the ring at any time you want. So all his dialogue before meant nothing because he can just give him the ring at any time. There's no waiting for you're ready. He is ready because he used it. He flew. He saved himself. Like, what the hell? What are we doing here? Like, I'm sick of getting treated as I'm like a moron watching these freaking films and TV shows. Like, have some respect to the audience that's going to take the time and watch this stuff. Write it out. Like we saw freaking... And I think the Lanterns show is a huge topic right now. Not only because of its bastardization, but I think it's going to be the last thing, the nail in the coffin, that's going to solidify if James Gunn is going to have a job or not. Maybe he'll finesse his way to keeping his job, but if Superman was a hit, was the best thing in the world, this wouldn't be a conversation. It would be like people would be trusting, even in this trailer, like, this looks weird, I'm worried about it, but James Gunn gave us the best Superman we've ever seen. Awesome. Like, regardless of the how I don't like this trailer, I believe in Gunn. You would hear freaking political statements, I believe in Gunn. It would have been great. But, and I'm not saying it was a box office bomb, it was just one of the biggest disappointments ever. It did not perform the way that Warner Brothers predicted it was supposed to perform, and we got what we got. You guys saw it. But we're in this freaking world now of ridiculousness. Okay? And man, oh man, I don't know what to tell you guys. I freaking don't know what to tell you, because I don't think it's gonna be good. Now, I hope it is. I hope I eat crow, man. I hope they put it out, and that, like, the trailer is just the first episode. Still makes it a crappy trailer, and then by the third episode, it's all really Green Lantern stuff. It's all beautiful Green Lantern crap. But right now, it's like, what are we supposed to expect from this? It's insane. Like, if I wanted to watch True Detective, I'll go watch True Damn Detective. If I wanted to watch Yellowstone, I'll go watch Yellowstone. I'm not going to turn on Lanterns to get something that's similar to Yellowstone with dudes flying around with rings, and that's all they do. Like, you got to be freaking kidding me. Man. And you got one of the worst writers in Hollywood. One of the, like, I'll give credit to Tom King. He gives some good starts in comics, but he F's it up because the only thing he's about is freaking trauma. You know, mommy and daddy issues and the past and how much it hurts your heart and all this bull crap. And then he makes Catwoman cuck freaking Batman, which, by the way, if you were around a comic book shop, great marketing for those comics. Like, if you were subscribed to something, Tom King, like, they made you feel like you were going to be at the wedding of Catwoman and Batman. Okay, they sent out wedding invitations for Bruce Wayne and Selena Kyle wedding. And then what did they do? They gave us a comic where she doesn't show up, leaves Bruce at the altar, completely cucking him, man. Like, and it's insane. Again, the comic wasn't too bad, other than freaking showing, like, Bruce Wayne's dick. Never want to see that. I don't care if the comics are catered to adults. Like, F you, man. Like, it's still comics. It's still heroes. Don't want to see his dick. I don't want to see him get screwed over by. And the only reason he proposed to Catwoman is because he said he was sad. It wasn't even because he loved her. It's like, I'm sad and lonely and I want you to take care of me and my boo-boos. Freaking dick. Tom King sucks. And then Tom King partnered with this dude, whatever, Damon Lehman, whatever his stupid name is, and he wrote one of the worst DC shows ever to exist, The Watchmen. As much as I hate Zack Snyder, his movie The Watchmen was great. The Watchmen show, dude, abysmal. And they try to hide it. They try to hide the fact that it freaking nobody wanted it. Nobody cared about it. It was around 2019. They said, oh, it got renewed for a second season, but we already told our story. So there's no need for a second season. There's no need because nobody's going to go watch this stupid thing. And this is who James Gunn chose to partner up with and have the Lanterns. Like, he's done good stuff, but it's always usually somewhat grounded, like World War Z or the Lost TV show. He's done garbage for anything related to superhero or fantastical. He did the Star Trek movies, the new ones, and those were garbage, trash. And then he did Watchmen, the show, trash. And you trust him to do Green Lanterns, not Kyle Rayner, not some obscure alien, nothing. The most popular Green Lanterns to ever exist in comics. Fan favorites. And then write them like they're nothing. This is who James Gunn is not smart. Okay? He's done good work. I was a fan. Superman movie came out, or Peacemaker came out, and I was like, that's freaking rough. Like, maybe he was trying to cater to some studio exec, and then he started running his mouth. Then he fired Henry Cavill unceremoniously, and then we got freaking and then he said that The Flash was his favorite superhero movie. That movie is James Gunn's favorite movie. And then we come up to this previous year, we got the Superman movie. One of the worst films I've ever seen. I think it was a terrible Superman. I think Man of Steel and James Gunn's Superman, in terms of garbage, are either equal or James Gunn's is worse. And I hate the Man of Steel movie. Hate it. So James Gunn is not the freaking Kevin Feige of DC, man. Like, this is a travesty. Freaking terrible. Like, I don't know how you guys have faith in the the Lantern show. I've heard people, make claims. I just don't see how you guys think this was smart. Anyways, I think that's it for today.